Hi everyone, we're getting ready to do our next math lesson. We're going to do a little bit more of our subtraction stuff. I got some subtraction problems hanging out over my shoulder here we're going to talk about in a minute. Go ahead and get your page ready that you're going to be working on after the lesson. It's not so much a lesson today. You're getting ready to do a kind of show us what you know situation. It's called Fluency. It's how you can do it and how fast you can do these subtraction problems that we've been working on. So it relies on all the stuff that you've already learned. We're just going to talk about it, and I'm going to give you a couple more tricks to try to solve stuff if you don't have pictures, okay? So today we're going to work on page 121 in your book. It says 121 down here in the corner, 121. It's got a little green hammer, and it says subtraction, developing fact fluency. Fact fluency is all about how fast you can solve these problems, okay? So fluency means speed or rate or how fast can you solve problems. I have a bunch on the board. We're going to just talk about them as we go. I think I have all the stuff that I need to talk about the different steps, so I'll leave it there. So what you guys have been doing so far is hearing stories. Let me move this a little bit. You've been hearing stories and looking at pictures, telling yourself stories about how to do the subtraction thing, like what is it asking you to do. For this particular part, we're just going to give you some numbers without the story, and we're going to see if you just can do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a couple different things to do when you don't have a picture to look at, kind of empower you to make your own pictures based on what you get. So sometimes teachers will give you stuff that's just some numbers. We now know that this sign right here means take away, take apart, subtract. So that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be taking away some numbers away from bigger numbers. We know that. Or we're going to be taking a number and we're going to be breaking it into two different numbers. So that's something that we know just because this is the subtraction sign. Okay? So what I did is I put some numbers up here so we can just kind of work through a couple problems. I'm going to show you some things that I do with my hands if I don't have pictures. I'm going to show you some counters that I use sometimes. You probably have something around your house. You can use counters, pennies or something like that if you need to. So let's go ahead and just jump right into it. So I put number 1. The first problem that we're going to do is 5 minus 2. So I've got 5 minus 2 equals blank. So one of the things that I like to do, because I do have these magical little things right here, is use these to help me with some of my addition or my subtraction. I know that I could take two numbers like this, 2 and 3, and if I add them together by counting all of them, I can figure out what 2 plus 3 is. So I can go 1, and I touch each finger with my nose so that I can count with it. So this is how I do it. I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that I do this, I can say 2 plus 3, and I counted all of them. That means it's 5, okay? Or that's how I know that 2 plus 3 is 5. It works the same way with subtraction. You just want to start with your biggest number. So this says 5 take away 2. 5 is that first number you want to start with. So you want to make sure that you have 5 fingers up. Okay, so if you don't have any other counters, there's no pictures of chickens to count or anything, you can always use your fingers. As long as you have enough fingers and toes to count, you're good. So for this, I know I'm starting with 5. It says take away 2. So to take away, I'm going to put 2 of my fingers down. That's going to be the taking away part for this. So I've got 5. It says take away 2. So I'm going to take away 1. I'm going to take away 2. Whatever's left over right here is going to be my answer. So I can count that with my nose. 1, 2, 3. 5 minus 2 is 3. So that's one way to go about doing it. If you don't have pictures and you don't already know what 5 minus 2 is, you can use your fingers to do that. I put another one up here, 3. So number 2 here is 3 minus 3. You could always do this with your fingers. Again, you put up 3 fingers. You take away 2 or take away 3 of them, and what's left over? Well, nothing's left over. And what number do we know about being, or what number have we learned that means no value? It means nothing at all. It's the one that kind of looks like this. It is 0. 3 minus 3 is 0. So we can use our fingers for that one. Another way we could do both of these right here is pulling out our counters. So I've got these cool magnetic counters. You probably don't have these at your house, but you probably have pennies. Pennies will work wonders for subtraction problems, okay? You just gotta start with your first number right here, your big number, or largest number. So I'm gonna take 5 of these little guys. And you can just put all 5 of them together. It doesn't matter how you put them. Start with 5 minus 2. So this is like, you can pretend like these are your chickens or your fish or whatever you want to take away. We're going to take 1, 2 of those away. I pull them off so I don't get them mixed up with my answer. And we said that our answer was 3. We can check it with our counters. 1, 2, 3 are left over. So that'll help us with our problem. That'll tell us exactly what our answer is. For this one down here, 3 minus 3, we just start with 3 counters, because that's our number that we're starting with, our largest number. And we take away 3 of them. 1, 2, 3 is taken away. What's left over? Nothing. Nothing is 0. So we know that that one's correct. This is a little bit bigger number than you're going to work with today. We've been working with it with some of the kids in my other room, so I figured it might be a fun one for you guys to try. It's really hard to do with fingers because you can't do it on one hand, so you definitely have to do you have to keep track of what you're doing if you do this way with the fingers. So if I have 7 minus 4 equals blank. So you need more fingers than you have on one hand. You have to make a 7 with 2 hands. So 5 plus 2 equals 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7. So if we're going to take this away, we got to keep track of how many we're taking away. This one says 7 minus 4. So we have to take away 4 fingers. So we count those 4 out while we're putting them down. So I'm going to take away 4 fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4. If I take away those 4 fingers, then whatever is left over is going to be my answer. So I have 1, 2, 3 left. And that means that 7 minus 4 is 3. You can use your counters if you have them, pennies, to check this out. They don't need to be pennies. They could be dimes. They could be army men, whatever you want. Just make sure that you're only counting each thing as 1. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Started with 7, which is my biggest number. I want to take away 4 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4. Taken away, and down here, out of the way, out of my answer. 1, 2, 3 left over is my answer. Okay? 4 minus 1 is the last one that we're going to work on, and then I'll turn you guys loose. I'll show you some problems that you're going to be working on. 4 minus 1, just make sure you start with your biggest number. So put up 4 fingers. Take away 1 finger. Whatever's left over is your answer. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 is your answer. If you want to count with your nose, 1, 2, 3 is your answer. That's what we got right here. Seems like a lot of our answers are 3, every single one of them so far. Let's do it with our counters just to prove that we know what's going on. Start with your 4 counters, just like our big number here. We're going to take away 1 of those. What's left over? 1, 2, 3 was left over. Not all subtraction problems are going to end up being 3. That's just how it worked out with the numbers that I made up. So if we want to make one that's like, here's number 5. 6 minus 1 equals blank. So for this one, we'll start with 6 counters. There's our 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It says take away 1 of those counters. I'll take him away and put him down there. We count what's left over for our answer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is our answer. So 6 minus 1 equals 5, or 6 take away 1 equals 5, okay? You have got to do the same thing with your math book today. So what it's going to give you is it's going to give you the numbers, but it's not going to show you any pictures. So you kind of have to make your own pictures in your brain. That's what using the counters is for. Most people don't have little chickens running around their house, so they just grab pennies or something like that to count. So what you're going to get is a page that looks like this. It's like our addition one. It says start right here, and then start doing the math problem. So the first problem that you're going to do is 4 minus 1. I like to put a little piece of paper here to keep me on track, to make sure that I know what I need to do. So 4 minus 1 is your first one that I want you guys to solve. So get out your little counters like these, put out your 4, and then take away 1, and that's going to be your answer. So you're going to write a little 3 right there. 1, 2, 3. One of the things that you can do, hang on, I gotta get a pencil for this. So if you don't have counters, it's totally fine. You do have a pencil, hopefully. So you can do it this way. You can put 1, 2, 3, 4 little dots. Start with your biggest number, and then take away one of them by crossing that out. That's another way to get this answer. Whatever's left over is going to be in the answer box. So I have 1, 2, 3 little circles left over. I put them in the answer box. Once you're done with that one, you can look over here to the next one. So this says 3 minus 2. Same thing, use your fingers, use your counters, draw little dots. I'm going to draw 3 little dots here because that's my biggest number. That's what it says I'm starting with. 3 take away 2. I'm going to take away 2 of those dots. What I have left over is 1 dot, and that goes in there. So there's a bunch of different problems here. Go to this one. Once you're done with this, you can go around to this one. And some of these you've already seen with my videos, so some of those answers are right there. And then go all the way around, solve all of these subtraction problems. Keep giving those dots, keep using your fingers, using your counters, whatever you want. Just make sure you're taking away from that biggest number, and you should be okay. Take that picture, send it to your teachers so we know how you're doing with subtraction, and we'll see you on the next lesson.